Can you hear me now, ladies and gentlemen? Hopefully you can hear me now. If somebody's in here, please go in the comments and let me know if you can hear me. All right. Looks like they can hear me now. So I apologize. Still pretty new to this streaming thing. Welcome into the program. You had the guys introduce us. Cam and his buddies out playing basketball, kickball, whatever. Welcome into the weekend update here on the Pop Sports Network. Got a huge show for you. We're not going to waste too much time before we get to our big guest. We are going to get in there right away. Just want a quick recap. We went 9-3 last week on our 12 best bets we gave you. We hit some college basketball throughout the week. Missed a little bit yesterday with Bucky Irving and Kirk Cousins to throw an interception. If you watch the short video I gave out today, we do have the Texas Longhorns. I gave it out at 15.5. It dropped down to 14. It's unbelievable how quickly these lines drop on us. So I apologize for that. Still like it. Like it at 14. UConn is not a team. As you can see, I'm wearing a UConn shirt, but we're not a team that tends to blow everybody out. Probably would have looked for another game if I could have, but it's a real slow night in sports. Not much college basketball, handful of games, but nothing major. UConn, Texas at 8 o'clock. Obviously, your marquee matchup. A little bit of NBA, which I don't cover a lot of. And then we have, nothing else really to write home about. No college football yet. You got the big Army-Navy game tomorrow, which always is a fun game to tune into. Always fun to watch Army-Navy and all the, theatrics that surround that ball game. It's a great game. Love how that still has its own sort of standalone spot on Saturday afternoons. Not a slow week, right? With college football, you have some FCS stuff going on, but none of the major bowls get going. Remember, next week, we're going to have our college football expert, Brendan Murphy, on with us to get us ready for those college football playoffs. He's going to give us the pros and cons of every team. We're going to go through the games, these quarterfinal games, and he's going to help us out so we can be ready. And we may have some plays for that too, right? To have some fun, enjoy the ball games, hopefully make some money, and, try to make that money, be ready, maybe some future bets on teams that we think could win it. Obviously, a lot of drama in college football. We're going to bring on our special guest right away because we want to get to it. We got a UConn game at 8 o'clock. You guys know that's going to be difficult for me to try to be done in an hour and a half, hour and 20 minutes, as I tend to get a little long-winded, but we will try to zip through things. We are bringing on our guest. The Godfather joins the program, donning his UConn. Is that a football jersey, hockey jersey, basketball jersey?
Baseball.
Baseball jersey. The baseball jersey.
Yeah, a little baseball jersey.
Love it.
Pick this thing up.
Welcome into the program. I love it. I love it. You got the new logo. I got the old school logo, the old Husky dog there. I know there's a lot of controversy back when we switched to this logo. But before we get to all the rundown of the Sunday games, we've got to take a quick second and talk about this whole Michigan thing. I mean, this is something right out of a movie. I don't know, aside from, I was thinking maybe, Tiger Woods. Obviously, people are bringing up the Bobby Petrino thing. But then for this guy to go off the rails and now be in jail. And the latest updates are that he may spend up to 6 years in jail for what he did after being fired. This is absolutely unbelievable. And they have now on Twitter, X, whatever you would call it, they now have the mugshots up. They now have him actually being arraigned in court or whatever the proceedings are. He's not leaving jail right now. I think he posted $25,000 bond. I don't know if he's going to get released out to the public, but I know he's going to have an ankle monitor on. They're going to monitor him so he can't go near this woman. They're being a little vague about the woman. I got to believe it's the same girl that he was having the affair with, but they haven't released that. So there's rumors surrounding that maybe he had more than one mistress. Just to give you a quick, before I have your thoughts on it, Godfather, just to give the people, if they've been living under a rock or they're not aware because a lot going on in the world, a little quick timeline of the events. According to what I'm hearing, and these are, not everything, this is just me gathering info, putting it all together. Over the summer, rumors are swirling about him and his executive assistant getting into something. They brought both of them in. Ward Manuel, who the UConn Husky fans know, our former athletic director, right? He bolted us to Michigan. Brought them each in. They both denied everything. Deny. Fair enough. Things go on. Apparently, he got her pregnant. Apparently, he paid for some sort of getting rid of the baby, let's say, right? God-fearing man with a wife and 3 kids, youngest 6 months old, 3 girls. Something went south after the season. I don't know if it was promises, I don't want to get too much into it because we want to get to the games. But apparently something went south between them. Whether he was promising he's going to leave his wife or he's promising somehow their relationship went south. She went to the athletic director. She had receipts. She had text messages. She had everything she needed to report this guy. She reports him. They fire him immediately, and then he goes off the rails. Apparently, he leaves the house, tells his wife he's going to kill himself. She's got a tracker on his phone. He goes to to some woman's house, breaks down a door, grabs knives, says he's going to kill himself. You're going to watch me kill myself. You ruined my life. Holy crap, you can't make this up. Have we ever seen a fall from grace like this, Godfather?
Wow. I don't know what you're doing talking sports. You should be the new Andy Cohen on Bravo Network. I mean, that was all about, you think you would be describing something on Real Housewives of, I don't know, Lansing or wherever the hell, Ann Arbor or something. Unbelievably sad story. But
Ann Arbor.
History repeats itself. It really does. It was a bigger profile figure last time. It was Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods, we thought he couldn't do wrong. He was on top of the world, beautiful wife, beautiful family, beautiful house, and he threw it all away for what most people believe was a lot lesser than what he currently had. This guy has 3 kids.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure he has a beautiful wife, and he's got all the money he could possibly want because he's not even 40 years old. He's a young man, but he wanted
got a
more.
dream job too.
I'm sure that he probably was tempted many times by this young lady and other young ladies. But you just you're playing with fire, and just like Tiger Woods, and this guy's going to really fall far from grace. He's never going to get another head coaching job. He'd be lucky to get an assistant job somewhere. I mean, he's actually be lucky to be out of jail. I'm not sure what he exactly did when he went over to this house, but if he didn't do that, at least he would have just lost his job. He would have gotten another job down the road. But I mean, this guy is completely
would have been embarrassed. Would have been able to probably come out and make some sort of apology like Tiger Woods did. I'm going to go to rehab. I have an addiction. I think that's a bunch of baloney.
Check those boxes.
He would at least, had a second chance. Americans are we're the land of opportunity. We're the land of second chances. Many people have gotten second, third, fourth chances. But now going in and breaking in, threatening to kill yourself, he's toast. He's cooked. And especially for a guy who this is your dream job that you landed that you really weren't qualified for. I mean, I looked at his resume now that all this stuff's going on. He was an assistant tight ends coach, and then he was like, an assistant offensive coordinator. But all the stuff happened with Harbaugh. He bolted. They wanted to keep the program rolling, and he got his dream opportunity. And to throw it all away, oh, my Lord. I mean, just
this hat.
Thinking with the wrong head, I guess.
Just because he's an amazing coach at one of the most prolific colleges in the United States doesn't mean he's immune to being an idiot. He's an idiot. I mean, here I live in Bristol, Connecticut, and one of the claims to fame to Bristol, Connecticut was Aaron Hernandez. There's a kid with all of the talent in the world, star at Florida, star with the New England Patriots. He threw it all away for, I mean, everybody knows this story. I don't even like repeating it. But this stuff happens. Right. It's going to happen again. This will be a beautiful Netflix documentary, and then FX will have one, and then Amazon will have one, and then there'll be somebody else to do something just as dumb.
Yep, it's just unreal to throw all that stuff away. It's crazy.
If you're going to
reality
do this
TV
stuff,
live.
If you're going to do this stuff and it's in you, don't get married. Don't have kids.
There you go. That's it. Don't get married. Don't have kids.
Because now he's totally ruined. He's really devastated his wife's life, and his kids obviously are going to be. They're going to be, it is haunted by this. Sad. And that girl, the reason they're not going to release those names of that girl is because there's probably some crazy Michigan fans out there that would probably do something to her. So I hope they never release her name because we got to protect her. She technically didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, just a wild story. But so I figured we had to touch on that. I just can't believe it. I just can't. Yeah, it's almost unbelievable. really no words. But it was a wild story that I thought we had to bring up and at least address because I've been following it. It's one of those things you get sucked into certain stories, and every detail that comes out seems a little crazier and more off the wall. Just wild. Anyhow, we're going to get into the football action. We already talked about it a little bit. We went 9-3 with our 12 best bets that we gave out on the show last week. We're happy to have you in with a huge Bills Patriots game. So let's get right into it. We know you are a Patriots fan.
I want to stop you for 1 second. You went 9-3 last week. I was trying to explain this to an average person who doesn't bet at all. If you put $100 on all of those games, you're going to be clean 570, if I'm not mistaken.
570.
Yeah, that's a hell of a week. That's nothing to scoff at. That's really amazing. Yeah, no, congratulations. Good week.
Yeah, and listen, we do this to have fun, okay? And anybody that's out there that's watching the show that has a problem and you're taking your mortgage money or you're taking money that you need to feed your kids or make a car payment, stop now, get help, whatever. And I don't want to go on like some soliloquy. We're trying to do this to have some fun. It's enjoyable. It's legal now. It's in most states. It's to have fun, right? I'm certainly not putting $100 on every single game. I'm not putting $1,200 up on a weekend. If you can handle that, you make that kind of money, be our guest, have some fun. The other thing I'll add, Godfather, I appreciate you, recognizing that because I don't, I'm usually a one-man show. I don't want to toot my own horn, but I am proud of that 9-3. Is we're taking some underdog stuff, right? We're taking guys, prop bets that are plus money. So I had two bets that were one that was plus 180 and plus 190. I don't want to get into all the but it would be even more actually because we're taking these
50. Yeah, you would have done even better. I forgot about the
Xavier Worthy was like a plus 180. Yep. We had one other guy, I think that was a plus 180 as well to get his numbers. And we're gonna go through it. And that's this whole point. That's the whole reason for the show and the channel. We see that we have 36 people watching right now. Thanks for coming in. Glad to have you. Like, subscribe, share the channel. Get in the comments. Let us know, what you think, what you're sipping on, what you're doing Friday night. You're fired up for the UConn game. You think I'm a nut. You think that Texas is going to get blown out by UConn and not cover the 15.5. Whatever the case, let us know. Big week for fantasy football. This is your fantasy football playoff start this week. Get those start-sit questions in. We'll break it down. We'll try to come up with a consensus, right? And, hey, listen, worst case, now you have a fall guy, right? It's nice to have a fall guy. If John and I give you a guy that we think play over this guy, you can at least blame us, right? We want to have somebody to blame if we end up losing our matchup. Kyle Pitts obviously might have put you in the bind, so you got to nail those fantasy decisions. So make sure you put those in the chat. We're going to get started. Bills, Patriots. Give me your thoughts. What's going on up in Connecticut? What's going on in that area? Obviously, you got to be going Pat's crazy. A couple down years after Brady leaves, but you've got your guy in Drake May, and you're in first place. This is a huge ball game.
Biggest game in 5 years for a New England Patriots fan. It's been very depressing Decembers the past few, and that's speaking from a very spoiled fan who watched this team hoist the Lombardi 6 times. But it's pretty exciting. This is a big game. The Patriots win this game, they win the division because they'll win the head-to-head tiebreaker against Buffalo. They're coming off a bye week. Most of the guys are healthy. There's a couple guys that played in the first Buffalo game in week 5 that aren't playing this week. But for the most part, they're really healthy being late in the year. Pretty excited. I think there's a couple other things working the Patriots' way. Let's just get it out of the way. I'm a complete homer. But games at 1 p.m. on a Sunday, it didn't get flexed into the p.m. game. Didn't get flexed.
Yeah, very bizarre.
I know why. I think I know why, because there's a lot of good games this week. There's like 4 marquee games this week. I'm sure we're going to go over them. But I think that's why it didn't get moved out of that 1 o'clock slot. So each of these marquee games had their own slot. Drake May has been unbelievable at quarterback. I can't believe he's the MVP favorite right now. Here's a guy who's MVP favorite, and he hasn't thrown for 300 yards in one game. He has not thrown for 300 yards. He's been thrown for like 250 multiple times. He doesn't turn the ball over. And they haven't even really turned his running ability on. I love the fact that Josh McDaniels has not done that. The way you're going to have a terrible season in the NFL is just lose your quarterback. Look what happened with the Colts. They're all done. I mean, every team who's lost their quarterback has no shot. At least if you have your quarterback upright, you're in playoff contention. But really, really excited for the Patriots. Defensively, I mean, I don't know if you want how deep you want to talk about this team. Defensively, they're good. I wouldn't call them a great team. It's going to be interesting to see if they can stop Josh Allen's legs specifically. I think they would trade 30, 40 yards rushing. They would take that in a heartbeat from Josh Allen. I think he only can kill them with his legs, kill them and beat them if he can have a really good running game. And I think that, listen, I think the Pats are going to win this game. I know they're 1.5 point underdog or one in some lines, but they don't turn the ball over.
Yeah,
as long as they don't turn the ball over, they're going to win. And then there's a good stat. I found a good stat.
Yeah, I think both offenses. Yeah.
You know,
go ahead.
I don't know if you want. I know we had talked a little bit about earlier in the week that crazy stat that numbers don't lie. Mike Vrabel was the head coach for the Titans for 6 years, and he's 6-0 after the bye. So
yeah,
that's
coach.
A pretty strong stat, and that's, you know, with the Pats being a dog at 1.5. And let's talk about these Patriots being a dog at home, 1.5. Are you telling me that if this game was in Buffalo would be a 7.5 point favorite? You know, like usually it's 3 points, or has that changed?
Yeah, it's kind of changed. They're kind of looking at it. They usually do like 2 points now for home field. I just think that the sentiment is that Josh Allen's going to put them on their back. The Bills are still that darling team that everybody wants to sort of root for. They think that they're kind of turning it on at the right time. But Vrabel over the years has been a great coach. And you put the coach and you get the offensive coordinator and you get this quarterback and you reel him in, because May was kind of known as sort of a gunslinger, but he's got it under control. He's still slinging it, but he's not making those costly turnovers, which has been huge. You know, you got to give edge in this game to the Patriots defense over the Bills defense. And I think both offenses are equally as good. So if that's the case, the Pats defense is much better than the Bills defense. I think it'll be important for the Pats to establish the running game. I think if the Pats can get the running game going with Henderson and Stevenson, I think they're going to be tough to beat. Josh Allen's going to have to play Superman. You know, we talked about it on the show last week that he's going to have to go into Superman mode. He's going to have to put them on his back. He's going to have to play one of those, you know, just out of this world games where he's running all over the place and doing all that kind of stuff, sort of like he did last week, in order for them to go, because they have so many deficiencies on defense. They still don't have a go-to receiver. Running game is pretty good with James Cook, but obviously the Pats are one of the best teams against the run. So it's going to be an awesome, awesome game. It's just so good to have this December football, have the Patriots back, a huge game at the end of the year that has so much meaning. Personally, I kind of like the over. If I'm doing anything in this game, I like the over. I'm kind of staying away from the teams because I see both sides of the coin. As a neutral party who's neither a Pats or Bills fan, I could see Josh Allen just throwing him on his back. But I could also see the Patriots wearing him down with the run game and keeping him off the field. That's why that running game will be so huge for them. I agree with you, John. I think Drake May is every bit as good a mobile quarterback as Josh Allen. He hasn't had to do it because he's got a better team around him at the moment. But he could turn that on at any moment. And you got to be over the moon with the win or lose with what the Pats are doing right now. And they are definitely a Super Bowl contender. Want to get to this question in the chat, or just a comment, I guess, in the chat. Nico Dobbs, they're very unlucky going against Kyle Pitts, man. That's a bummer. And Bucky Irving, he hurt me. If you watched, if you're subscribed to the channel, you got my short. I had Bucky Irving over 84.5 total yards yesterday. He had 30 on the first drive. I mean, I thought I went to bed at halftime. I got that one. Now, I kind of had that in the bag as a win. Wake up, and he only gets up with 60 rushing, and he only had the one catch for 11. What are the Buccaneers doing? I don't want to harp too much on it. I mean, and the broadcast kept saying how much the Falcons were the number 2. They said it for like 10 times. They're the number 2 blitzing team in the NFL. I always was brought up, how do you beat a blitzing team? Screen passes. How do you not, that keeps them, they're rushing, they're bull rush. You throw those screens to keep the pass rush at bay, and the Bucs just didn't do it, apparently. So, really awful loss. I'm down here in Tampa. I root for them aside from my Giants. Really, really bad loss for the Bucs. I feel you, Nico. If you got any questions, or this goes to another chat as far as fantasy goes, or another tip, now's the time where you play your volatile guys. Don't play your guy going for, that's like a floor play. Go for the high ceiling play. You're going to have to go for it, right? You're going to have to put in, like a Xavier Worthy, right? He's a good example, right? He doesn't he's not having a great season, but he could catch those 2 long bombs for 60 yards and end up with a 4 for 150 and 2 touchdown game. You got to play that guy.
Henderson, if you got him, he's a big play guy.
Yep. You got to roll the dice on any of those, guys with a high ceiling. So there you have it. Godfather likes the Pats, obviously, but he's giving you unbiased opinion. He's giving you the facts. It's going to be a great game, and Vrabel downplayed. I saw early in the week they were talking about the spread. How do you feel about being an under? And he downplayed it. That's bulletin board material. Absolutely, bulletin board material.
Definitely,
we beat them in their place.
Watch the turnover battle. The Bills turn the ball over a lot. They've turned it over 12 times in the past 5 games. Pats have turned it over like 5 times, fumbling. And if he's got to go into hero mode and you get him to roll to his left, let me tell you right now, he's going to throw the ball away. It's going to be cold in New England. There's a chance it might snow. It's going to be cold along the whole around the whole Northeast and Midwest. It's going to be really cold.
Yeah, what do you got for wind up there? How's the wind in the cold? Because 30 degrees, that neighborhood's not the end of the world. It's more so if you get that coupled with wind. What are you seeing up there?
Well, I don't know about the wind. I'd have to look into that, but it's going to be cold, and it just makes the ball slick. Listen, the Pats have had a little bit of fumble problem, especially early in the year. We had that 5 turnover game against Pittsburgh when Ramondre Stevenson was putting the ball on the ground a lot. He makes me nervous every time he touches the ball. But I don't think they're calling for too much wind, but they are calling for a chance of snow, so that'll be interesting. The Bills just came off that snow game, and obviously they put 39 points up last week, so that shouldn't scare them at all. Going to be a great game. Really looking forward to the game.
Looking forward to it.
It's really been great. 1 o'clock start. I love it.
All right, we got Nico Dobbs needs some help. Remember, he had Kyle Pitts kind of put up a huge game on him. His QB's Jalen Hurts. He left Baker on the bench. I don't think you made the wrong decision there. Baker is really banged up. I don't think it was a mistake. And you got Jalen Hurts at home. And one of the themes of our show has been when everybody's down on a team, when everybody leaves them for dead, they think the bounce back, right? The bounce back has been huge for us. Part of the reason we've had such a winning record. You can't get a better matchup for Jalen Hurts than home against the Raiders.
You know what I like about that? He was embarrassed. He was embarrassed in that game. And usually teams and players that get embarrassed the week before will come back re-energized, refocused. I think Nico's in good shape with having Mayfield on the bench and then Hurts in his lineup.
Yeah, and Mayfield had an okay game, but he didn't have this out of this world scoring game. Hurts could give you a 2 passing touchdown, 2 rushing touchdown game and absolutely crush it. Now, I will say you did make a little mistake here. He's sending us another little chat. Taking Derrick Henry against the Bengals out was, I wouldn't have agreed with that. Wish you could have got a hold of us. Obviously, hindsight's 2020. But that Derrick Henry in December, when it's cold out and a team is not in line for the playoffs, and you got to tackle that big truck coming at you, especially that Bengals defense that's awful, I would have played Derrick Henry, Nico. But best of luck, man. You got Bijan had a good night for you. CMC could, McCaffrey's got a great matchup at home against the Titans. He's got an amazing matchup. You're not out of it, man, because you've got, what I'm seeing from your lineup is you got some guys that have high ceilings. I mean, would anybody be surprised if Hurts runs for 2 and throws for 2? Would anybody be surprised if CMC has 2-3 touchdown game against the Titans? I certainly wouldn't be surprised. So you're still in the mix, my friend. So hang in there. Don't give up.
It's got a great team. 4 running backs are unbelievable.
No kidding. Yeah,
Bucky Irving is
Henry.
his fourth running back. Oh my God.
And you know what? Good. It's whenever I've been obviously there's many factors that go in when you got to make a start-sit decision, right? Obviously this guy has an embarrassment of riches, but I try to avoid that Thursday night game. Something about that dang Thursday night game, man. Like it just, for me, whenever I'm like in between and I start a Thursday night guy, it flops on me every single freaking time. I try to avoid it like the plague. I try to stay away from that game if I can.
It's ugly games. Last night, I couldn't believe how many times the laundry was.
Oh my God, it was unwatchable in the first half.
I fell asleep. I fell, and then I don't have a dog in the fight. I don't actually have the Bucks D. Oh God, but it's just tough to watch. Those Thursday night games are very tough to watch most of the time. Once in a while, you get a great one, but most of the time they're tough.
They couldn't go more than two plays without a flag being thrown. It was absolutely brutal. And if you had Bucky Irving, obviously you're sick to your stomach. They get down to the goal line, first touchdown of the game, and they take him out and bring in Sean Tucker, the third string running back, and he gets he vultures the touchdown. So that was absolutely brutal. And look at this guy's wide receivers: St. Brown and Rashee Rice, backups are Diggs and Michael Wilson. I mean, you're cooking with gas there, my friend. Pretty good setup. And Michael Wilson's been like the waiver wire pickup of the year. But I think you got to play St. Brown and Rice. You got to pay your horses. I think Diggs is a great play if you needed him because he obviously got the revenge factor.
He had 10 catches for 147 yards against Buffalo last time.
That revenge factor is a huge deal. So he's obviously a great option if you need him. All right, let's move on. Jets and Jaguars. I mean, kind of a stinker. Brady Cook will be your quarterback for the Jets. No Fields, no Tyrod Taylor. Don't ask me who the backup to Brady Cook is. I don't know. Probably just go to the Wildcat. Breece Hall was banged up throughout the week, but I just got word he will play. So Breece Hall will play. Jets wide receivers. I mean, there's no bye weeks, so hopefully you don't have to play either of those guys. But you got Adonai Mitchell, you got John Mechie, the tight end Mason Taylor, who's been kind of an okay player. You can throw him in on bye weeks if you're hurting at tight end. He's out, so it's going to be Jeremy Ruckert at tight end. Jets are really banged up. They have been playing hard, for the coach. 13 points. Jaguars, I mean, if there's ever a letdown spot, this has got to be it for the Jags, right? Coming off a huge win against the Colts. You're firing up your Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence has looked really good lately. And I know a friend of the program, one of my guests, Jason Joseph, who's on here a lot, is a big Trevor Lawrence hater. He thinks he doesn't get enough heat for being a semi-bust, when he was declared the chosen one. I don't know. The Jags are playing great. This Liam Cohen has got him rejuvenated. All the balls seem to bounce their way. Travis Etienne is a great play. The receivers, Jacoby Myers, who they just brought over, seems to be Trevor's go-to guy. They've got a tight end, Brenton Strange. They've got Brian Thomas Jr., a very good fantasy team. You obviously love firing up all your Jaguars. Any thoughts from you, Godfather, on this ballgame?
My God, I had to look up who Brady Cook was during
Missouri quarterback. He was I don't know if he was a free agent or a second-round pick.
He's got a 2025 regular season stats, so his QBR is 6. Like 6.
Yeah, because he came in when Tyrod went down last game.
I mean, I have a tough time thinking that this game gets over. I mean, can the Jets score points? I said this like 9 weeks ago, and then the Jets and the Bengals went absolutely bananas scoring. But I never heard of this guy. I don't see how they can score 10 points.
So he went 14 for 30 for 163, no touchdowns, 2 picks in his Jets debut. Obviously he's going to get first-team reps finally, and he probably hasn't had a first-team rep all year. So, maybe you could see some improvement. But I'll tell you what, this Jaguars defense, and it's really a bummer that Mason Taylor's out because a lot of times rookie tight ends go to the tight end. Rookie quarterbacks go to the tight end. And Mason Taylor had 5 for 51 with Cook at quarterback. The Jaguars have been incredible. You want to make a lot of money at the bar? Go ask somebody who the number 1 rush defense in the NFL is. And it's the Jacksonville Jaguars. So this is a tough spot for that kid because you like to say, hey, let's run the ball, right? Let's keep it out of his hands, play action. Well, going to be tough sledding against the number 1 defense Only way the Jets have a chance is special teams, which they've had some nice punt returns, actually, believe it or not. Special teams, or the Jags just come out and forget to play football and they just sleepwalk through the ball game. That's
they're gonna have to,
my thoughts on it.
Jets will have to pull off a miracle turnover battle in this game, and they're awful.
Absolutely.
I think they're like minus 15 or something on the year. I think they've only gotten one interception, 2 interceptions this whole year.
Oh yeah,
I don't. And they were playing okay with Taylor. They were hanging around. They hung around. They won 3 out of 4, if I'm not mistaken. But
yeah, Tyrod's
serviceable.
He can manage an offense. He's not going to win you a championship, but he can make it so your team doesn't look absolutely abysmal.
I'd love to know who the backup is. I wonder who his backup is. That'll be
the backup to who? Brady Cook? Yeah, that I don't know. I don't even know who the backup is right now. Honest to goodness, I couldn't tell you. Maybe somebody in the chat could look it up, so we're not constantly on our phones looking stuff up. But again, if you go to that look ahead thing, right? 13's a lot of points. Still NFL players. And here's what we got. We got Jaguars next week at Denver. Yeah, possible look ahead, right? This is the ultimate sandwich spot. Huge game against Colts. Denver on the next week. We'll see what kind of coach Liam Cohen is if he keeps them up for this game, because there is a chance for letdown. I can't lay 13 points. That's just not the way I play things. I agree with you. If anything, I'd go under, maybe even Jets team total under. All right, next game on the docket, Ravens at Bengals. On the Baltimore side of the ball, man, their offense has not looked sharp. Lamar Jackson's been very disappointing for fantasy. You got Derrick Henry. I think he is an absolute smash play in December, going against a terrible defense. This is it. If there ever was a Derrick Henry spot, this is it. Zay Flowers, solid receiver. Bengals are terrible against the tight ends. You got Likely, you got Mark Andrews. There's no second receiver to speak of on the Ravens. Bengals side of the ball, I believe T. Higgins is off the injury report. Did I read that correctly? I believe he is playing. Obviously, Jamar, you like all your offensive guys in this game. What do you make of the Oh, no, sorry. T. Higgins is out. T. Higgins is out week 15. Sneaky play at tight end, Mike Gesicki, has been playing very well, especially in T. Higgins' absence. Jamar, how many targets is Jamar Chase going to end up with? 15? Easily. Chase Brown, another sneaky running back. He's been, I think, top 12 his last 5 or 6 weeks. He's been sneaky good since Joe Burrow got back. He's a great play at home to catch a lot of dump-off passes. This could be a good fantasy game. And again, whenever you're in doubt, we have our friend Nico that's in the chat. Look at the over-unders, right? 51.5. Jaguars game, 41.5. You're in between two players. Let's lean toward a guy that's in a 51.5 over-under than a 41.5, right? And then what do you make of Godfather? I don't know if you saw this. Joe Burrow had some kind of interesting comments in the media saying he's, not loving the game. And if he loses the love for the game, he'll walk away. And a lot of people are saying, this is starting to sound a little bit like Andrew Luck with all the injuries he's had, having to bounce back, from these injuries. You make anything of that? Is that just, him being frustrated with the team?
I'm sure he's frustrated with the team. Sounds a little bit like a baby to me. The guy got everything he wanted. He got Chase. He got Higgins. They re-signed his 2 best receivers. And he got a gigantic contract. Unfortunately, he keeps getting injured every year. So maybe that's something to do with it. He is getting banged up pretty hard, but he's getting all the toys, and he's got a 4-9 record to show for it. The guy showed so much promise a couple of years ago getting to the Super Bowl. He's the only one in the past 5 years not named Patrick Mahomes to lead the AFC to the Super Bowl. It's unfortunate. I don't think he's going to hang it up. He's got too much money to lose to hang it up. That's never.
Yeah, I think it's just frustrating talk, and maybe a little shots fired toward the front office to maybe. But like you just said, they paid Higgins.
What are they going to do?
Chase.
Didn't they pay Hendrickson too? Who's not playing? Yeah, they're paying their star players. It just but their defense is so bad. You can have a below average defense if you have a tremendous quarterback like Burrow. But you can't be the worst. They were on pace for a while to be the worst in all categories defensively.
Yeah, it's improved a little the last handful of weeks, but still not anywhere where it needs to be. Do you take anything revenge factor? Do you like the revenge factor for the Ravens, who got embarrassed? Was that on Halloween? It was on one of the holidays, right? Or Black Friday? No, was it Halloween?
Well, they lost at home.
Or was it Thanksgiving? Oh, Thanksgiving night.
Yeah.
That was Thanksgiving night.
They lost.
They got kind of embarrassed. Bengals embarrassed them in Baltimore. I mean,
and they have a lot to play for. They have they play.
I like the Ravens. I'm not usually a road favorite.
Given a couple points, but
yeah,
I don't see how. I mean, the only thing I would push back on is there's something wrong with Lamar. There just has to be.
Yeah.
How can this guy? His stats were unbelievable last year.
They're so bad,
and he just doesn't seem like he's the same guy running the football. And that's the only thing that makes me a little concerned, because clearly Burrow's going to be able to put points up. They're going to put points up. 51.5. I think the game goes over. I think it's going to be a shootout. But the one thing I would also say with Derrick Henry is the higher the score, and this is just me thinking about, do when they fall behind, do they play Henry a lot, or do they put him on?
Yeah, he's still in there a lot. Yeah, he's pretty much game script proof for the most part, unless they get up huge maybe. But even if they're down, he's in there. Yeah, they have Keaton Mitchell, but he's banged up. They have this guy Rashina. They don't have a great third down back really to speak of. He's out there a bunch. Yeah, Lamar, his rushing, I mean, we're no for Lamar for running a ton. Since he's been back from the injury, 14 yards, 36 yards, 10 yards, 11 yards, 27 yards, 43 yards last week against Pittsburgh. Trending up, right? Going from 27 to 43. Maybe he's getting a little healthier. I tend to really like the Ravens in this spot. I'm going to check real quick just to follow up on your point about Derrick Henry. I want to see his snap share. I mean,
while you're doing that, I think that they need to unleash Lamar. I know a lot of these teams are protecting their quarterback. I mean, the Pats are clearly protecting May. They don't want him running the ball unless he's, breaks the pocket, but there's no design runs. I think, listen, they're 6-7. They got they're not in the playoffs. They got to win that division probably to make the playoffs. I think they're gonna have to win this game. They can't afford to lose this game to Cincinnati. Go 6-8, and then the Steelers possibly go to 8-6. They just can't do that.
I agree with you. So let's, with that being said, let's take a quick peek at what we think. Why on earth? Oh, there we go. Oh, there's the games. I don't wonder why that was going away. What do you think Lamar's rushing total is? And give me what you think Lamar's rushing total and what you think Derrick Henry's rushing totals are. I want to take a look at both of those.
For the year?
What do you think? No, for Sunday's game.
Henry 73.
86.5. 86.5. They think this is a big Derrick Henry game. And I couldn't bet the under. I could only bet the over there.
Yeah, you're not disagreeing with it. That's a lot of yards. 86 is a lot of yards.
A lot of yards.
A lot of yards.
But I mean, he's getting 20+ carries, and it's an awful, awful run defense.
No, I don't know. Hendrickson on top of it.
Yep. And then Lamar is
probably low, probably high 30s, 36, 37.
Yep. I think you nailed it. He is 32.5. I don't mind that over. I think they're going to have to mind that over. Like you said, to your point, he's trending the correct way. And then these big games, it's been known for a long time. Josh Allen and Mahomes run way more when they're in a close ball game and they're in a big game. Look what Josh Allen did last week. I mean, he put him on his back. He said, I got to be Superman. So those are a couple ones. We'll see if they make our final plays, but ones I like. I mean, the over-under, Jamar Chase's over-under on catches is 7.5. I mean, I still think that goes over. How does he? He's going to get absolutely peppered. I tend to want to take him to get a 100-yard game. 100-yard game for Jamar Chase.
For the Bengals to have a chance, they have to. I mean, they're going to
plus 125 for him to have a 100-yard game.
And if the Ravens go up, let's say they go up 10 points, which could easily happen,
even more
have to throw the ball all over the yard, right? Yep. This could be a 400-yard game for Burrow.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Let's go on to the next game. A lot of divisional battles going on. A lot of huge ball games. There you have it.
Big games.
Our thoughts
Big
on
games.
Ravens Bengals. Yep. No T. Higgins, so make sure you make those changes in your lineup. I'm sure you will, but just make sure that's on your radar. Chargers and the Chiefs, another divisional game. It just feels like the Chiefs for like the last month and a half have been playing must-win games, not winning many of them. Chiefs favored by 5 seems like a lot on paper to me. They're just – is this the end of the dynasty, Godfather? I got to shut the garage. I'm getting some mosquitoes coming in. I'm going to let you talk real quick before I come back. I'll be gone for 2 seconds. Give everybody your thoughts on the Chiefs. This dynasty, is it over? Obviously, they'll be back with Mahomes. But is this generation, or is this I'm trying to think of the right word, this version of the Chiefs going to completely change? I think they got to make some wholesale changes.
Well, I got some really good friends that are Chiefs fans, and I think that they know it. I think they're done for the year. I think they'll be back next year. I think there's no doubt they'll be back next year because their offensive line will be back. It's so banged up right now, and they're going to go get an offensive weapon to go along with Rashee Rice, because that's really all they have. Kelsey is kind of a shell of himself. He's dropping balls left and right. I do think that I think that they're done. They might win this game, but I think they're still far from getting in the playoffs. I really think that I don't know. 5.5 seems like an awful lot for a team that doesn't really score the football that well. I don't know what you think, Dustin, but I think I like the Chargers to cover here. They have a lot to play for. They're playing for the division still. I mean, I know that Denver has a 2-game lead on them, but I think that Denver is catchable. They have a tough schedule down the road, if I'm not mistaken. They have the Chiefs, and they have a couple other hard games. So I do think that the Chiefs will put up a fight. Gosh, 5 or I got it at 5.5. Seems like an awful lot of points. I kind of like the Chargers to cover here, and I just don't see how. I don't see how they're going to cover 5.5, unless I know something with Justin Herbert, who's injured. I'm not aware of that. I know he was banged a couple weeks ago, but he seems like he's okay now. Not okay, but
yeah, I mean, he certainly didn't look good Monday night. I think a lot of people are reacting to that Monday night, and I think people overreact to this. Oh, must-win game, must-win. I think the Chiefs are losing a little of that luster. Mahomes looks very frustrated out there. Their offensive line is banged up. They were down 3 guys against the Texans, and then on the first, I don't know if you saw the game on Sunday night, that first play of the game, that 4th guy went down. And I didn't give it out as an official play, but as soon as that 4th, because I can't, because it was a live bet. That's one of the things about the live betting. Chiefs had the ball. It was 0-0. That guy went down. It was still Chiefs -4 or 4.5. I loaded up on the Texans. I mean, that defense of the Texans, and we'll get to the Texans later, is out of this world. Really good. And they just don't have – there's no explosiveness in their run game. I think that is probably the underrated thing that's killing them. There's no explosiveness in their running game. None whatsoever. And they bring in Dameon Pierce, who
in their offense anymore. There's no explosiveness in their offense. They used to have Kelsey in his prime.
Kelsey is a shell.
Tyreek Hill in his prime. Other guys in their prime. They signed 2 bums from the Patriots. Guys that couldn't even make the Patriots last year.
Yeah.
In Juju Smith-Schuster and Tyquan Thornton. And started them. Those guys were starting for a while. As soon as they signed those 2 guys, I was like, boy, they're really hurting for certain. And
yeah, they're trying to piece the receiver room together.
And Mahomes he's an unbelievable quarterback, and he'll be unbelievable again in the future once he has an offensive line that's not, in the ER right now, because he has got so many guys banged up on that offensive line, and a couple more talented guys at receiver and tight end. But they've made a hell of a run. I mean, they've been to the Super Bowl. Was it 4?
I'm wondering about going back to the well here. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, as long as you have the quarterback, you're never going to be, it's not like the Chiefs are just going to go away. But this version of them, I think this is the last hurrah for this version. They got to make some big changes. They got to get more explosive in the running game. They got to get more explosive in the pass game. Obviously, their offensive line, very banged up. If we go to the Chargers side of the ball as far as fantasy, Justin Herbert looked awful. I know he was out there playing with the hand thing. Maybe another week gets him better. He looked really bad against the Eagles on Monday Night Football. I know he hurt a lot of teams there. We have Quentin Johnson. Looks like he's not going to play. You got Lad McConkey. You're firing him up. Keenan Allen's been very disappointing. The tight end, Aronde Gaston, the rookie, who looked really, really good at the beginning of the year, has kind of cooled off. The running back situation with Amarian Hampton and Kamani Vidal was basically a 50-50 split. Both coaches, the offense coordinator and Harbaugh, said, we're going to play the hot hand. Well, that's tough for fantasy managers, right? Because how do you know who's going to have that hot hand? The one thing I would say puts more in Amarian Hampton's court is the fact that he's the bigger back. He's probably more the goal line guy. So if let's say you had both of them on your team, I think I play Hampton just because I'm hoping for that touchdown. Chiefs side of the ball, you really don't want to play any of those running backs. Obviously, you play Rashee Rice. You know what's crazy, though, Godfather? We're talking about how bad Travis Kelce is. But if you go into PPR formats, where you get point per catch or whatever, and even if it's non-PPR, I'm pretty sure, I want to double check. I know he had a terrible game, but I was looking at this last week. He was the number 3 tight end in fantasy. Isn't that crazy? And that just kind of shows the tight end landscape, how bad it is.
Wow. Well,
he's the number 4 tight end in fantasy. That is insane. And he's only got 5 touchdowns.
He's still a shell of what he used to be. And he was so dominant in the past. And that's it. Yeah, that's what we can remember. It's the same thing with Gronk. Gronk had some unbelievable years, and then he had some good years, and they actually won the Super Bowl against the Rams when he had a good year. But he's just not as good as he has to be. I just want to say one more thing about this Chargers team. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the Jaguars. Nobody really talks about them, but I'm pretty sure they won like 5 of their last 6 games. They do find a way to win games. They got their doors blown in at the Jags, if I'm not mistaken. But they beat the Eagles last week. Whether you like the Eagles or don't, they beat the Eagles, and they find ways to win. That's why they're 9-4. I think they're going to win this game.
Yeah, they're another one with an underrated defense.
Hardball.
Yeah, their defense is really underrated. And then obviously Herbert has been playing well, but we'll see what happens with that injury. He did not look good against the Eagles. Nico is in the chat. Do you think Seahawks or Texans have the best defense? I think you nailed it. I think they both do. I think you have the Seahawks, to me, have been the best defense I've seen in the NFC, and the Texans for sure in the AFC. They are a nasty defense. They are a defense that you do not want to face. They are really, really good. I agree. Yeah, they're both amazing defenses. Really good. And
people
we
are
know
very high
defense
on the
wins
Broncos
championships down the stretch. But the big thing will be for both those teams.
People
Broncos D is very good as well.
Too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The big key will be can their quarterbacks, Darnold and Stroud, make the big throws when they need to, when neither one has really proven themselves yet in the playoffs. So that's going to be the key there. All right, next game. We know we got to get the Godfather out of here by 7:45. He's got some stuff. We got to get ready for this UConn Texas ball game. Cardinals and the Texans, who we just talked about. Fantasy football wise, obviously the Texans. We just talked about how amazing their defense is. But I'll tell you, 2 of the biggest waiver wire pickups in the entire NFL have been Jacoby Brissett at quarterback, former Patriot, and Michael Wilson. This guy, Wilson, has been absolutely cooking with Marvin Harrison Jr. out. Marvin Harrison Jr. is out. He will not play. So if you're out there and you need a high ceiling game and a shot, I know that the Texans defense is great, but this could be one of those garbage time. And that's what the Cardinals have been doing. They've been crushing it in garbage time. I remember way back in the day, Godfather, you and I go back far enough to remember. One year I had Blake Bortles, I think, as my fantasy quarterback. And the Jaguars were atrocious. But every game, they went into the second half down 21-0, 24-3, whatever. And he just absolutely cooked in the second half. I mean, he was just a garbage time king. And that seems to be what's happening with Brissett and the rest of the team. Trey McBride, obviously, is unbelievable. The number 1 tight end in fantasy. He's been an absolute monster who I have on my fantasy team. Or wait, is he the guy I traded you? Did I trade you
You
McBride or
traded
Bowers?
me
I traded you Bowers, right?
Bowers, which didn't look good for
I had
6
an
weeks when he
embarrassment
was out.
That's right. Yeah, but Bowers is awesome. Those are the 2 top tight ends. Those 2 and Kittle are the. I've been talking about it on the show. If you have those 3, you feel great. After that, good luck with tight end. Anybody's guess. Week to week, you just hope your guy finds the end zone.
Yep.
As far as that goes, so the Cardinals are interesting from a fantasy perspective. Obviously, not a good matchup on paper, but we got that garbage time that could come in handy. On the Texans side of the ball, I've got to start C.J. Stroud in a 2 quarterback league. I don't love playing him. He has been not good for fantasy because he doesn't run very much. But my other option was Daniel Jones, who is obviously now out for the season. So I need a big game from Stroud, and I also have Nico in that league. So Nico Collins, huge, great matchup. The Cardinals' D's been horrible. Woody Marks will play. Dalton Schultz you can play. Again, it's a tight end. Who knows? Jaden Higgins has kind of emerged as the number 2 in Houston. I mean, I don't think you want to play him, but you can play him. But it's mainly Brissett, Michael Wilson, and Trey McBride. And on the other side of the ball, it's Stroud. Woody Marks, the running back, is going to play in a great matchup. So you got to play that Woody Marks. And then Nico Collins. As far as the line, 9.5 is a lot of points when you don't have an amazing offense. Any thoughts? You got anything on this game? Obviously, one of the not so big games of the year. Anything from you, Godfather? Any insight?
Yeah, not one of the 4 marquee games, but it's got a lot of fantasy. A lot of guys will have a lot of the fantasy guys on there between McBride. I have Stroud in a one quarterback league, so God knows I'll be pulling for the Texans. But it's amazing that Brissett's had the year he's had, and he's a very smart quarterback. And I know he's going up against an unbelievable defensive line. But I'm going to remind you what I saw last year out of this guy. He is a statue. He's going to be sacked. If you have the Texans, it's going to be a gigantic day for you. I really believe that, because he is a statue back there. He's going to get sacked many, many times. He doesn't throw a lot of picks because he'll take the sack over throwing the pick. But if I had to say who do I like, it's Houston. Do I think they cover? I do.
Yeah,
I think they have a lot to play for.
Yeah, and I think we've seen Kyler Murray play his last. I don't think we see him play another down for the Cardinals. I think they made that pretty obvious. How they get out of that contract or do some kind of trade thing and eat the contract. Not sure how that'll work, but I think Kyler Murray's all done there. That's a conversation for the offseason. We talked about it on the show a couple weeks ago where he could end up. Maybe the Raiders, maybe the Vikings, I'm hearing, maybe the Colts as a bridge quarterback.
Somebody will sign him.
Somebody will play him.
Somebody's going to get teams for quarterbacks. Definitely.
Yep. And just look at the landscape. Look at who's starting at quarterback in the NFL. And, maybe Brissett has played himself into having a shot at a year being a bridge quarterback for Arizona. Maybe they draft someone. It's not a great quarterback class. Brissett could be playing himself into getting a starting job, which would be kind of wild to see. I think they're going to draft somebody or bring somebody else in. I don't think they'll go Brissett only, but he's got an outside shot because he's playing pretty good, at least from a fantasy perspective.
I agree.
All right, big game here. We'll get the Godfather out here in another 15 minutes. We'll try to zip through rapid fire. I can finish the last handful of games myself. Browns at the Bears. Jay Joseph's Bears coming off a tough loss against Green Bay. One of those ones, though, Godfather, my thoughts before we get to the fantasy thing. I've wavered a little here on the Bears. I actually took more out of that loss than any of their wins this year. I think the Bears are for real. They had the Packers. They could have won that game easily. They played toe-to-toe with them on the road in some cold weather, nasty weather. I thought Caleb Williams played a really good game, and I've been very critical of Caleb Williams. I took a lot out of that loss from the Bears. I think they're for real. I think they have just as good a shot as anybody in the NFC. What are you thinking from the Bears?
Yeah, I watched that game. It was the game of the week here, and it was a really good game to watch. And Caleb Williams, I didn't like him going into this year. I thought he was just a rookie. He has really, really improved. He has command of that offense. I think the Bears are someone to be reckoned with in the NFC. The NFC really is loaded. there's a lot of good teams in the NFC.
Yeah.
I think the Rams are a tiny bit better than everybody else, but really, really good. And I'm actually kind of happy for those Bears fans because they've had a lot of years of just misery. But now they got a 9-4 team, and at the
especially
very
at the
least,
quarterback position.
Yeah, they got 10 years of this kid Williams at quarterback for sure. Very exciting team, good wideouts, great tight end in Loveland. Yeah. He's only a rookie. I think they have no problem with Cleveland. I don't know what the line is. What is it? 7.5? 7.5. It's not even. It's a
lot of points, and the weather is supposed to be awful.
Ice cold. I saw this one.
Cold.
Very cold.
Very windy. Nasty game. I lean under.
39.5. Wow.
Yeah. And you want to play the running backs. I think you see a big game here on the Brown side from Quinshon Judkins. Receivers for the Browns, a little shaky. You like the tight end Fannin. Seems to be Shadour's go-to guy. Jerry Jeudy had a decent game. Those are kind of desperate guys if you're in a deep, 14-team league like we play in, where, some of those guys get into the games. This guy Nico in the chat seems like maybe a smaller, shallower league. You're not playing any of those guys. But Quinshon Judkins should be good. What do you make of Shadour Sanders? I like the kid coming out. I like the talent. I think it was more – I don't think there was any conspiracy theory or anything. I think that teams just didn't want to bring in the circus because he has kind of that swagger, the whole Sanders thing. I think a lot of teams, too, were deterred by Deion's comments before the draft where he said he was open to coming and coaching in the NFL. So I think a team or a coach was very afraid to bring this kid in and then – hey, they might be coming for my job if I bring in his son. So what do you make of Shadour? I think these last 4 weeks are critical. He could be the week 1 starter in 2026 if he continues to show improvement.
I didn't think the other guy was that bad. I mean, he wasn't any good. I think he threw 7 touchdowns and a couple picks. Shadour Sanders, yeah. I think they're very average guys. I think if they were really, really good, they would have been drafted in the first round. I mean, the Browns drafted 2 quarterbacks, and Shadour Sanders was in the 6th behind Gabriel in the 3rd. I think he's going to be – he could be a very average quarterback. Very few players are coming out.
I think these next 4 weeks are going to be critical. I think if he looks good –
Well, if he can play well against the Bears, that's a big deal. I just don't see it. I don't see anybody. It's not really anything to do with him. Nobody ever comes out of Cleveland as a good quarterback. When's the last time you said – boy, that's a good quarterback to have in Cleveland? You'd have to go back to Kosar. I mean, even Tim Couch was the number 1 draft pick.
Well, Baker had that 1 year.
And they got rid of him.
Baker had 1 year before they jettisoned him, before he got that shoulder injury, where they went into, I don't know if it was KC, they went somewhere and won a playoff game. So they won the first playoff game. And then obviously he went down. But you're right. Other than that, it's – kind of like the Jets, just the places where QBs go to die. It's just wild how some of these teams can't ever get it right. You know what I mean? But we'll see with Shadour. He put up big stats against the Titans. Take it with a grain of salt. One of them was a screen pass that went for 97 yards.
Yeah,
so you take that out of the mix. I'm not trying to, 97-yard screen pass or whatever it was. That inflates your stats. It's also the Titans. Let's see him do it on the road in the cold. But I think he's got a chance. And that's when, if you're looking at it and you're one of these rookies or whatever, you're looking for an opportunity. Here's your opportunity. You've got 4 games. You've got at Bears, home against Bills, home against Steelers, at Bengals. Let's see what you can win. It's a wide open job. It's just
it is. And one of these two kids won't be there next year. I have a feeling one of them will get traded.
Yeah.
Maybe it's Gabriel and they're protecting him, and then they're going to go with Sanders. But yeah, either way, not my favorite game on the board, but it'll be interesting with that cold weather.
Yeah, and then for the Bears, you're gonna fire up the dual running backs. They've been running the ball great with Swift and Monangai. Roma Dun. Well, they say Roma Dunze is questionable. He hasn't practiced all week. I don't think he's playing. Luther Burden's interesting. Man, what a fall from grace for DJ Moore. Oh my Lord! I think he had 1 catch for -2 yards. Man,
he was so dominant a couple of years ago from Carolina. He had, I think, one really good year in Chicago. Yeah,
yes, he did with Justin Fields.
Yes, he had a great year with Fields. Yeah,
I just don't think he fits in this Ben Johnson offense. And I think he's going to either request a trade or they're going to want to trade him. He's going to hold some value. Teams like the Patriots who could use another receiver, or the Bills, or maybe the Chiefs get some more explosion. He's going to end up somewhere, not Chicago. It's, obviously they're going to ride it out. He's been a good soldier this year, and they're in the playoffs. But I don't think they're a good fit. I think he's on the way out, and they'll roll with the Dunze, they'll roll with the Burden kid, and they'll roll with Loveland.
And that happens. Look at
that's
Adams.
My thoughts on that.
Look at Adams with the Raiders and the Jets, and now he's I think he's the league leader in touchdowns with the Rams. It changes scenery. Quarterback that can get you the football makes a big difference. Even though I don't think Williams is doing a bad job, but Williams is not. He's not a great thrower of the football right now, but he is finding a way to win.
Yeah, he's been great. Like, I saw some stats where, like, when he's in the pocket, he's been very average. He's been really good out of the pocket. He's been really good creating, throwing on the run, scrambling for yardages, or scrambling for first downs for yards. And those are backbreakers, right? Especially in the playoffs. I mean, how many times, whoever played against Mahomes, or you play against Josh Allen, or you play against even Aaron Rodgers was a pretty good scrambler back in the day. And you think you got him. You got 3rd and 8, and you got him covered, and and they run for that 9-yard first down. Those are backbreakers to the defense. So I think Bears got a shot. Like I said, I took a lot from that loss. I thought they looked very good against the Packers. They didn't look outmatched. They were right in that ball game all the way to the end. So that's my thoughts there. Real quick, Nico, Godfather's going to be hitting the road shortly. I will get to the Monday night game, which is the Dolphins and the Steelers. I think A-Chain does play. I think he is going to play. You got to be careful. I mean, he's one of your studs, so you kind of want to play him. I think he does play. He's got the rib thing. It's more just a pain tolerance thing. They did say that he could have gone back in the game, but they had the game at hand against the Jets. I think A-Chain plays, but try to get absolutely pick up Wright. 1,000% pick up Jalen Wright and have him on your bench. If you're going to play A-Chain, you got to have that
the Monday night game.
Sub. It's the Monday night game, so you got no other backup plan. You better, yes. I don't care if you drop somebody, that is a much better player. You need to make that happen if you're going to play A-Chain. Absolutely. I think he plays, but again, one bad hit to the ribs, and it comes down to what are your other options as well, right? A-Chain's a top 5 back in the NFL, especially for fantasy and in real NFL. You got to be prepared. Have a backup plan. And this also speaks to one other thing, Godfather. Before we let you go here shortly, I'm going to have you do one more game with me, and then I'll get you out of here. We'll get ready for UConn at 8 o'clock. Put your questionable guys, your Monday night football guys, your guys who may not play, especially at 4 o'clock or 8 o'clock Sunday night, put them in your flex. Put those injured guys in your flex spot so you have versatility, right? Let's say it's 2 running back league and 2 flexes or something. Put your 2 running backs in, your Derrick Henry and your other guy. Put that guy in flex so you have more options. So you could maybe put a Waddle in, or name DK Metcalf or whatever receiver or whatnot. Just my little 2 cents there. All right, one more 1 o'clock game. Is this the last 1 o'clock game? No, we got 2 1 o'clock games, but last game, and then we'll get Godfather out of here because I want to hear his thoughts on my New York Football Giants. Home -2 against the Commanders. History repeating itself, where I'm hearing all these Giants fans and whatever, and I can't stand it. Drives me nuts, especially this year where there's no clear-cut number 1 pick guy, right? There's no Trevor Lawrence. There's no amazing offensive lineman. There's no defensive player that is just out of this world, far and heads and tails above everybody else. There's no Lawrence Taylor, whatever. We shouldn't win this ball game. I don't buy it at all. I think the Giants have been in every game, and I said it in one of my short videos. The Giants are going to be a major problem next year when they get everybody back and healthy. It's been a rough season, but I've never been more optimistic and fired up as a Giant fan.
You got a quarterback. It starts right there. You have a quarterback. You know it. The kid can play. Running backs are a dime a dozen, but that kid Scatterbo really is exciting. You've got a great wide receiver. The future is a little bit brighter. Obviously, all these guys got really banged up this year. Neighbors hopefully comes back at 100%. Just in this game right here, this will be interesting because the Commanders got absolutely embarrassed last week.
They're
the Giants
terrible.
come off. So by that reasoning, you're like, oh, I like the
Off a bye.
Commanders to come back. But the Giants are off a bye. So where do you go with this? The game is going to be, it's going to be cold. It's not going to be as cold as it is in New England. I think it's like 35, 36 degrees, which isn't that bad in New York, New Jersey. I like the Giants here. I think the Giants bring good energy and win this game. And I think they take care of business here. I think the Commanders are all done. It's amazing what a quick rise and quick fall from grace these Commanders have had. Everybody forgets they were in the NFC Championship last year against the Eagles. They were everybody's darling team, and now they've completely fallen apart. The Giants obviously haven't done much better in the win column, but you can see sparks of energy. There are obviously I have a lot of friends that are Giants fans. They're really disappointed this year because they have some pieces on that team to really for the future, but they won't be this year. But I can see why Giants fans are so excited. But I do think they win this week. And what are they covering 2? 2 is a weird number.
It's a bizarre number. Might as well be a pick 'em. Although it does happen now with the 2-point conversions a lot more than you would think.
Absolutely.
I think the big thing for me too is I think they're playing hard and they want to play for this Kafka guy. I think he's got an outside shot at the job. Here's what my stance has been. I think if Joe Shane comes back, I kind of hope he does. I'd like to see him get another year. If Shane comes back, Kafka's got a real good chance at the job if they finish strong. If Shane's gone, it's going to be a new coach. That guy's going to want to bring in his own guy, right? He's gonna bring in and do his search and bring in somebody else. I hear these Gruden rumblings. I hear these Mike McCarthy rumblings. I don't know what I think about any of it. As long as the guy's going to continue to nurture, Jackson Dart, we're not far away. This team has played toe-to-toe with so many teams. I know the wins aren't coming, but they are going to be a force. I stand by that. This Abdul Carter thing, though, drives me a little nuts. He stinks. He's been absolutely awful, and this is the guy that wanted to take LT's jersey number. Give me a freaking break. Commander side of the ball real fast. No Jaden Daniels. It's going to be Marcus Mariota. Chris Rodriguez. The Giants are the worst run defense in the NFL. Rodriguez has an illness. Rodriguez and Deebo Samuel, I don't know if they got some kind of stomach bug running through the team, but they both came up on the injury report with illnesses. So be cautious there. I thought Rodriguez was going to be a great play against the Giants. Our run defense has been atrocious. Terry McLaurin, if you held on to Terry McLaurin for a long time, he could be a huge player. Talk about, making start-sit decisions with guys with a high ceiling. McLaurin is a high ceiling. Zach Ertz is out for the year. Debo's a little banged up. I mean, it might be, every bit as many targets as Jamar Chase, right? Against a weak Giants secondary. Terry McLaurin, I think, could have a huge fantasy day. And actually, I'll talk about this after I get you out of here, Godfather. But that might be one that I look at, his over-under on receiving yards. I think Terry McLaurin is he's historically crushed the Giants anyhow. I think he's going to have a monster game. Giants side of the ball, Tyrone Tracy's healthy. He's going to play. I think Tracy and Devin Singletary are both on the flex radar. Commanders' defense is atrocious. Giants are going to want to run the ball. Jackson Dart's a great play. Receiver, Wan'Dale Robinson's been amazing. You could play Slayton if you have to. And Theo Johnson's been a pretty decent tight end, and he is going to play. He was on the injury report. He's going to play. Godfather, I'm going to get you out of here. Appreciate on the Michigan coach. On the Patriots Bills game, huge game. Good luck to your Patriots. Enjoy it. I also see that the Texas game that I gave you. That's why it's important to subscribe to the channel. It's down to 11.5.
Why?
I'll have to look. I don't know if anybody got ruled out from UConn.
It was 16. Yeah,
is Terrace Reed playing tonight?
My guess is he's not.
Yes, I gave it out at 15.5. It's down to 11.5. So. It's again, when I go over these numbers and we give our picks, somebody's got to be out. So
that's a lot.
I'm glad I got in my personal
5 points.
I got in at 15.5 at 8:30 this morning, so I feel pretty psyched. I could go the other way. I could take UConn and hit the middle if I wanted to. So, I'm pretty psyched about that. Enjoy the UConn game. Good luck to your Patriots. We'll have you again when the playoffs come around. Thank you so much for joining us. Anything else you want to say to the people? You want them to follow you on Twitter? You got anything? What do you got? Instagram, anything?
That's simple, man. No, thanks for having me on the show. Look forward to coming back next time.
All right. Yeah, we'll have you back on, man. Thank you very much. Enjoy the remainder of your evening. Go Huskies and go Patriots for the Godfather. All right, folks. That was the Godfather there with a bunch of insight. We got through almost all the 1 o'clock games. Now that he's gone, we're just going to continue to roll. Great insight, though, from him. I love getting the insight on the over-unders, the weather, all these little things that kind of confirm or, we agree to disagree. That's why we created this channel, this show, so we can all sit here and chat. We can try to help out guys like Nico and whoever else is in here. So I'm going to look at it now. Terry McLaurin's receiving number. I think he's going to get minimum in the 70s. My guess is his under is going to be in the high 60s for receiving yards. Oh, Lord. We got our first night, folks. Terry McLaurin. Okay, ready for this, folks? 58.5 yards receiving. 58.5. And by the way, if my internet gets screwy, it's on my Christmas list. Not a lot of stuff when you get in your 40s, right? What do you want for Christmas? What I want for Christmas, right? New underwear, some socks, right? We don't have, usually you don't have a ton of things. I want an internet booster. I'm down here in the garage, kind of in the fantasy garage. I'm asking for an internet booster, maybe a better microphone. You see my microphone was screwed up in the beginning of the show. So we're going to try to upgrade and give you a better, I think we got the content. Now we need to, upgrade our presentation. So McLaurin to get to 65 is plus 110. So not as good a number as I thought. So you know what I'm going to do? At minus 115, I'm taking him over 58.5 receiving yards. I think this, I know I say it a lot, right? And I try not to make it, like every game is a lock. I love this bet. And it's against my Giants, right? So a lot of times, just like when I took the Texas Longhorns today against my own UConn team, I got to be convicted, have some conviction in it, right? I think McLaurin over 58.5 with no Ertz, with Debo with an illness, with Mariota at quarterback, he can still throw the ball when they're supposed to be trailing. We don't have a ton of bad weather. The Giants secondary has not been out of this world. Terry McLaurin, first bet, taking it here with you. Over, we're not doing the alternate because it's only plus 110. So I got to get him, 7 more yards, and I'm not getting a huge number. If it was plus 130, absolutely. Over 58.5 receiving yards for Terry McLaurin, first play of the day. I like the Giants. Tough, right? Because it goes against our little theme. That's actually probably been our best trend of the year is bad teams being favored, right? Or teams with bad records being favored. We have profited from that. We profited from it twice last week with the Titans. And there was one other game where we took was it Saints? I don't know. Somebody last week. I know Titans were one of them. The other one was, who was the other bad team that was favored? Or maybe it was 2 weeks ago. I know for sure we had plus 4. Who's the other team favored? 2 weeks ago. Might have been 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, we had 2 of them. And we nailed them, right? He was favored over the Browns. That shouldn't. We took the Brown one. Then the Browns were favored over the Titans. Not used to being a favorite. We went Titans plus 4. That was one of our big winners on our 9-3 week. First bet of the night, McLaurin, over 58.5 receiving yards. All right, we got one more 1 o'clock game. A lot of games here, right? With no teams on bye. A lot of games. Raiders at the Eagles. This line has changed from when I posted it earlier. As you can see on the bottom, it says 11. It's now 12. I love the Raiders. I love the Raiders. Kenny Pickett at quarterback. And here's my thought process. Geno Smith has been atrocious. The Raiders have been playing hard, okay? Pete Carroll's a legend. He's a gambling legend. Did you see that field goal that they kicked to cover the number and to hit the over-under? Unbelievable. I don't know if you were watching this, folks. The Broncos were, I believe, an 8-point favorite. Raiders are down 10. They got the ball with almost no time left. Geno had been knocked out of the game. Kenny Pickett's in. There's no time. They got no timeouts. They got no nothing. They complete a pass to right around midfield that neighborhood. And the guy goes down, 12 seconds, that neighborhood. And the defender is trying to keep him pinned to the ground. Not really that bad. I've seen way worse, right? Where a guy lays on the other guy so he can't get up. They can't spike the ball. He kind of stayed on top of an extra second. 15-yard flag, right? For, unsportsmanlike conduct holding them down. Well, that moves the Raiders to the 35-ish yard line. There's literally 5 seconds on the clock, right? That stops the clock, right? Defense penalty. They got no shot at anything, really, right? They're down 10. Guess what Pete Carroll does? They kick the 50-yard or high 40s field goal, lose by 7 as the clock expires. Now, when they tried to explain it, they said, we were trying to hustle the kick and hope that there was 1 second left on the clock and we could do an onside and then we could try to throw a Hail Mary. No way. I'm not saying he knew the line, but he may have known the line. And it was wild. I saw some videos of sports books in Las Vegas where people going berserk that either had the Raiders or the over or the under because it affected both. It made the game go over and it made the Raiders cover. So he's a legend. But the Raiders are playing hard. This Eagles team is a mess. I think Jalen Carter's out for the Eagles. So maybe an Ashton Genty game. We've been waiting for one of these games. He's been very disappointing. And I know the offensive line for the Raiders is abysmal. It is atrocious. It's one of the worst offensive lines I've ever seen. And I've seen some bad ones with the Giants. But Kenny Pickett at least has a little bit of mobility. He's a pretty mobile guy. I'm not ready to stick a fork and say that this guy can't play. I think he's one of the better backups in the league. He can at least move the ball. So Genty's a play. Obviously, you're playing Brock Bowers. Guy's unbelievable. Do you see some of the catches he makes? This balls look like they're going out of bounds, and it's like he literally has glue on his hands, and it's unreal. The kid is unbelievable when they finally get an offensive line and a quarterback. Brock Bowers is just off the charts. The other receivers, it's kind of a hodgepodge. Dante Thornton, Trey Tucker. Now, here's one, and I have not looked at this. Specifically, the player props, I don't take a ton of looks at before the show because I want this to happen organically. But here's what I saw. When Pickett got 3 drives, maybe 2 drives, and I'm going to look this up, I saw him hit Jack Besh, who was a late second round rookie out of LSU. He's been very disappointing. But here's the thing. These second stringers, you saw it last night with David Sills. Who's David Sills? Well, guess what? He's a backup. He's a second stringer. Who's he been catching balls from all season on the second string? Kirk Cousins. Cousins and him have developed a rapport. Well, guess what? No Drake London. No Michael Penix. Cousins is in the game. Who does he look for? He looks for that guy that he's been playing catch with all year, David Sills. I think Pickett has been the second stringer. Jack Betch has been the second stringer. Now, obviously, they shipped Jacoby Myers away. The last couple of weeks, he's gotten in the game more. What's he do? He peppers him. And I want to make sure that I give you the right stuff. Let's see. So Raiders and the Broncos, 24-17, unbelievable. Game went over. It was 8.5, Denver. But here's the box score, okay? Pickett got in for, 3 drives, 8 for 11, 97 yards and a touchdown. Guess what Jack Besh caught? By far and away his best game of the year. 6 catches, 50 yards. Besh is going to be on the field. Obviously, Vegas thinks it's trailing game script, right? I just told you the Eagles are a 12-point favorite. I want to see this Jack Besh over under receiving yards. I think it's just one of those things. Pickett and him have been playing catch all season as backups. Now they step to the limelight. And there's no, obviously Bowers is your number one. I think this Besh kid, easily 30, 40 yards. He just got, what was this? What did I just say, 60? Yeah, he just had 6 catches, 50 yards. Let's look at his catches. Let's look at his yardage total for Jack Besh. Here we go, Jack Besh, receiving. Maybe they don't have it. Sometimes these guys, 17 and a half. Are you kidding me? Oh, I love these guys. Oh, my Lord, guys. We have to take this. Jack Besh to get to 40 receiving yards plus 375. Almost 4-1. I'm taking it. You heard my reasoning. They're going to be down. He's going to play over 39.5. And him and Pickett have a rapport. Plus 375. That is what I'm talking about. Those are the plays Dustino likes. I'm going to check receptions. I think he gets to 4 catches easy. Easy. 1.5 catches. Oh, my God. To get to 4. We're going to take these separate, though. We're not going to parlay them because they usually don't give you. Oh, my Lord, folks. We might have found the golden goose. Jack Besh. 4 catches. 4 catches. Plus 475. Oh, my God. Over 3.5 catches. 475, ladies and gentlemen. Real quick, just so we see it, okay? I want to give you his snap share so we know he's on the field. Wow. Oh, my Lord, do I love those two. And that's one of those ones that you benefit from watching the ball game. And I watched that game, and I saw when Pickett came in, and then all of a sudden he just started peppering this kid. Literally, I think all 6 catches came in the 3 drives of Pickett. Guys, it's late in the year. He's a rookie. They want to get him. They want to see what they got, right? They got to go to the draft in 4 games, right? They got to go to the offseason. Let's find out what this kid has. He played 82% of the snaps. 82% of the snaps. He's going to be out there 82% of the time this game, right? No, Devontae Adams ain't walking through that door. Nobody else. Tim Brown isn't walking through that door. I absolutely love these picks. I love Jack Besh, whatever your name is. You could make us a very, very happy crew of Pop Sports Network players. Holy absolute mackerel. Do we love it? Absolutely love it. Where are you going, buddy? You're trying for what? Bike ride. You can't go for a bike ride at 8 o'clock at night? Yeah. With who? He what? All right. Apparently my son is going for an 8 o'clock bike ride. Who are you going with?
Jackson.
Who else is going? Any adults?
Yeah.
Oh, they're mom and dad? All right. Be careful, please. Look before you go across the street and all that stuff. Okay. All right. Cam's going for a bike ride. Hey, I'm closing this garage, man. It's cold out there. You good now? I'm closing this. Or are you going to close it? Cam's going to close it. He's going to do the little running jump over the sensors. He made it. Have fun, you guys. Be careful. It's freezing out here. Woo! And when I say freezing, low 50s. I know you Connecticut people all over Northeast. Oh, my goodness. I can't believe we just found this Jack Besh thing. Oh, man. I love doing this show because we have the time to look these things up. All right, that's the end of the 1 o'clocks. On to the 4 o'clocks. And we got to kind of pick up the pace. I'm going to miss a little bit of the UConn start of the game. You guys keep me posted in the chat what the score is and, you know, all that good stuff, okay? And I will definitely be tuning in shortly. All right. Indy and Seattle. Indy, who's going to quarterback? Riley Leonard had full practice. How do you not play Riley Leonard? You got to play this kid. Why else you have him on your roster? But it is interesting bringing in Phillip Rivers. Really tough spot at the Seahawks. Riley Leonard, Jonathan Taylor, you got to play. This Seahawks defense is unbelievable. The only thing you're hoping for if your ball and your defense plays well, which they've been a pretty good defense most of the year, but what a dream crusher. How sad is that for Daniel Jones? Guy, you know, watching it, and my wife actually sat around and watched a lot of football with me this Sunday. Very rarely does that. She actually hung out and watched the football games. Don't ask me why. Must not have been a good Hallmark movie or something she's seen too many times. But we saw the Daniel Jones injury and him slamming, and I was like, oh, no. And she said, what? I said, and she knows Daniel Jones, obviously, from the Giants. And I said, oh, you knew immediately. And then he's slamming the helmet on the ground. And you just feel bad for the kid. You know, I don't think he's the greatest quarterback in the world. But by all accounts, he's a great guy, good team guy, never threw the Giants under the bus, always talked positively, you know, never took any shots at anybody, tough injury history, Then he finally gets brought in by a team that loves him and surrounds him with a good team, and they're playing great, and he has this happen. Really, really heartbreaking. I don't know how you play any of your Colts receivers. I know they got you there. This Tyler Warren, rookie tight end, Michael Pittman, Alec Pierce. I don't know how you play any of them with any confidence with Riley Leonard or Phillip Rivers at quarterback. And it's supposed to be cold and rainy in Seattle. Really, really tough blow for the Colts. I lean to the Colts, though. A lot of times in these cities, especially first game after a big injury to a star player or to a big player, a lot of times those teams rally around each other. Everybody for a one-game stint, steps up to the plate, right? And, that's a lot of points. 13.5 is a lot of points. Can Riley Leonard's mobile. And I will say, I watched a decent amount of this ball game after he went down. I'm trying to find Seattle's schedule, see if this may be a letdown spot. Riley Leonard looked somewhat decent. He threw the ball okay. He didn't look terrible. And here you look at Seattle. I mean, they returned a kickoff in the second half. The game against the Falcons was 6-6 at the half. Now they return a kick for a touchdown. In the second half, they returned the opening kickoff of the second half, and then things spiraled out of control. They had a fumble. Kirk Cousins throws a pick, and boom, boom. Now it looks 37-9. They got the Rams next week. I'm making my first side bet of the day. Now, I wouldn't be surprised to see this game go to 14, but we're doing this show live here. I am taking the Colts plus 13.5. I think Shane Steichen is a good coach. I think he finds a way to come up with an offense that runs the ball and tries to keep the ball out of Seattle's hands. I think they limit turnovers. I think the defense, it's going to be a field position game. I could see this game being very ugly. I certainly think the Seahawks are probably going to win, but I could see a 20-10 ball game. I could see a 24-13 ball game. I like the Colts. I think they're a good team still around, aside from just losing Daniel Jones. I think they run a lot with Taylor. Whether or not he's successful, he's certainly going to face a stacked box. I think Steichen is creative enough to come up with a game plan that at least keeps the Colts in the game. Seahawks side of the ball, I mean, it's crazy to see a team that's, 10-4 or whatever they are, right? I think they're 10-4. It's crazy to see a team that good have not a lot of great fantasy players. I mean, it's really Jackson Smith and Jigba. The guy's unreal. They're 10-3, the Seahawks. And they got a look-ahead game. They play the Rams the following week for the division on Thursday Night Football. So this is more me playing the spot and playing the number, taking the Colts plus 13.5. Now, Seahawks, run game, but they split it between Walker and Charbonnet. And you never know which guy's going to get the touchdowns, right? And the touchdowns are king in fantasy football. Darnold, I mean, aside from JSN, Cooper Kupp doesn't do much. A.J. Barner, the tight end, doesn't do much. Rashid Shaheed, I guess, maybe. You hope he can catch a deep bomb. But as far as fantasy purposes, not the greatest game in the universe. Nobody that I really want to look at the over-under. I mean, maybe carries for Jonathan Taylor, although the only problem is if they get down, which I don't think they will. Maybe Taylor to get the 20 carries. I mean, they're going to pound the rock. Let's see what those are just for fun. Rushing. Taylor's over under 74.5. I like the over. Taylor rushing attempts. Yeah, he's got to get his over under is 20.5. That's a high number, just in case the game gets out of hand, they fall behind. And I don't like it. 4.5 rush yards. I don't like, I like the Colts. That's my play. That's my take on this game. I think it's Riley Leonard, but if you see old man Rivers, now here's what I'm going to say. If it's Riley Leonard, I'm taking Colts 13.5. If Rivers gets in, it'll be interesting to see what happens to the line. I don't want any part of the Colts if Rivers is playing. I'm sorry. I think this is an ego thing. I don't think he can play. Didn't have the strongest arm to begin with. I want no part of the Colts if Rivers is quarterback. All right, great ball game here. 2 possible Super Bowl contenders, 2 playoff teams for sure. Packers at the Broncos. Green Bay -2 on the road. Very interesting, right? It's one of those interesting lines. Denver keeps finding a way. It's not always pretty, but they keep finding a way with Bo Nix and company. Josh Jacobs is going to play. All the receivers for Green Bay, I believe, are going to play. Dobbs, Christian Watson, who's been great. Matthew Golden, very disappointing, but he's playing. Josh Jacobs is really the guy you fire up. You could play Jordan Love, although I'd play a different guy if you could, if you're in a one-quarterback league. Not the greatest spot here for Jordan Love at Denver. 42.5 over-under. If you go to the Broncos side of the ball, R.J. Harvey, we called it. There's two that we nailed, and that was one of our plus 180 or whatever. We took R.J. Harvey to get over 64.5 rush yards and over 69.5 total yards. It was R.J. Harvey breakout day. We nailed that one. Let's see what he's at. Let's see if they've adjusted. I know it's a good Green Bay defense, but Swift and Monangai certainly had pretty good games against them. Let's see what we got. R.J. Harvey's 51.5. Do we go back to the well? 65 yards again for Harvey, plus 175. Let's see what his total yards are. If his total yards are right around that 69 number, that's what it was last week, 69.5. Oh, his total went up to 77.5. So they adjusted, interesting. They adjusted his rushing and receiving a bunch. They went up 8 yards, but they didn't go up on only his rushing. Interesting. So they think he's going to catch more passes than rush yards. I'm leaning, I'll let you know if we make it a final play. I'm leaning with taking his rush total. Over 51.5, 65 is plus 175. Let's do it. Let's do it. We're going to take R.J. Harvey again. We're going to go back to the well. We're going R.J. Harvey over alternate line, over 64.5 rush yards. So 65. I think he's going to get 15 carries again. Plus 175. Love it. We love these big plus ones. I do like Cortland Sutton in this game. Troy Franklin has really been falling off a cliff. He is really going down. These big games, you're going to get your star involved. You're going to go to Sutton. Cortland Sutton is only 51.5. Let's look at it. We got another play. Before we do that, because Godfather was actually tasked with doing all the weather. I'm just gonna check the Denver weather. I just want to make sure we don't have any atrocious weather or something, which is keeping this down. Denver, Colorado. 61 degrees and no wind. Absolutely gorgeous weather in Denver. All right, we're making some plays on this game, and it's good because it's a marquee game, right? Always more fun to bet on the marquee games because you're going to be wanting to watch it. We're going Cortland Sutton. Oh, and Jaden Reed back for Green Bay. We're going Sutton, alternate line, over 64.5 receiving, plus 155. Absolutely love it. And all this is correlated. We're going over 43 points in the Green Bay-Denver game. Absolutely gorgeous weather, 65 degrees. Green Bay's been opening up the offense a little more. With Jaden Reed, I think that opens up the offense a little more for them. Jacobs is going to play. Listen, we said this. I literally said this. I mean, how long we've been doing the show now? 3 months? So this is maybe episode, 10, somewhere in that neighborhood. We said it. Josh Jacobs every week is going to be questionable, and every week he's going to play. He's dinged up. He's a warrior. The guy's going to play. His over-under at 68.5, pretty good. It's a tough Denver defense, without a doubt. But Jacobs is going to get 20 carries. So he's got to average, 3.5 yards a carry, gets him to 70. I don't think that's a terrible play either. But our official plays are Harvey over 64.5, Sutton over 64.5, and over 43 in the game. Maybe a same-game parlay. Not really my thing, but I know some of you like to do that. So not a terrible play here. We've got 4 more games to get through, baby. 4 more games, and then we settle in with a nice cocktail and the UConn-Texas ball game. Checking in for my weekly education. Thank you, Tony Ella Michael. Tony Ella Michael, thank you for coming in, man. Appreciate having you. If you got any start-sit questions, you got any thoughts on what I'm talking about, please let us know in the chat. Appreciate you. Thanks for coming in, Tony. We got a bunch of people watching right now, so thank you very much. Like, subscribe, share. Let's keep building this community of people that enjoy the ball games and enjoy chatting about the games. All right, Titans 49ers should be a fairly quick one. Titans coming off a big win. They were a big winner for us, +4. This line, by the way, is down to 12.5, 44.5. I've been saying it all year. This is what you've been waiting for if you're a 49er guy. If you're in fantasy and you have 49ers, they have a beautiful playoff schedule. Titans at home. I'm going to get to the rest. I don't remember it off the top of my head, but I can tell you right now, it's a great schedule. So you're fired up your Brock Purdy's. You love Christian McCaffrey. You love Kittle. Pearsall and Juwan Jennings. Okay, I could see it. You know, if you're looking for a high ceiling, this could be a game that one of those guys breaks out. Absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt. This is just a fire up your 49ers. They got home against Titans, at the Colts, in a dome against a sus defense. Team that could really be crushed if they get blown out here against Seahawks. We just took them +13, so we don't think that's going to happen. And they get the Bears at home, who, you know, their defense is, you know, it's okay. It's middle of the road lately. So great schedule for the 49ers. Love Brock Purdy. Love McCaffrey to possibly have a huge game. I want to see what McCaffrey's numbers are. His total yards has got to be like, you know, rushing and receiving, got to be 120. Got to be. Let's see. Christian McCaffrey. I think he just goes berserk. You really can't play any Titans. I know Tony Pollard's coming off a monster game, but that's his first game doing anything this year. Trust me. Tony Pollard's one of my most drafted players in a lot of leagues. I thought he was going to be good this year. I thought they'd be able to run the ball, and, you know, he's the bell cow back, but he just hasn't done a thing. I think they're just stacking the box because nobody's afraid of Cam Ward beating them. Christian McCaffrey, total yards, 124.5. Yeah, he's set up for a monster game. He's one of those, and I don't do a lot of touchdown things. I could see 2 touchdowns from him. I wonder what that is. Let's see, touchdowns. If you take Christian McCaffrey to get 2 touchdowns, he's +180. I think that's very, very live. I'll make a decision on that one Sunday morning. But that's on my radar. McCaffrey to get the 2 touchdowns. I think that's very, very live. You know, you got Cam Ward, 202.5 as his over-under passing. I'd go under. I'll be honest with you. I'd go under. He has really not impressed me. You know, on their side of the ball, you know, if you look at their receivers, here's what you got for over-unders. You got Chimere Dike, over 31.5 receiving yards. Alec Iomanor, over 31.5 receiving yards. I'd lean Iomanor. He's a Stanford kid. He's a California kid. Maybe it's a homecoming game, right? Playing in Santa Clara against the Niners. So he's one to have on your radar for a little bit of a game, especially in a game where they're supposed to be trailing by 13 points. Does he get some garbage yardage? Possibly. And then you got Okonkwo and Helm, the 2 tight ends, are at like 28.5, 23.5. So they're not expecting much from this Titans team. Rushing the ball, your over-under on Pollard is 44.5. Not a terrible. Coming off of, maybe they found a little something in the run game. Not terrible. I don't think I'm putting my hard-earned cash on either of those. If I had to lean anything, it's that Alec Iomanor one, because I could see the little homecoming game, and he's on the field a lot. They got to throw to somebody, and he's one of the rookie receivers that gets some action. For him to get the 50 yards is +240. So that's very interesting. Again, they got to throw to somebody. We got the specimen, Florida. Yeah, McCaffrey's going to have a big day, buddy. You're sitting in a good spot if you got McCaffrey. Yep. He could put up one of those monster McCaffrey weeks, right? Let's move on. Again, that Iomanor's on my radar. To get the 50 receiving yards is +240. Let's take a look at his. He's on the field a lot. They have to throw to somebody. Oh, it's our famous last words, right? Iomanor. He's on the field 80% of the snaps. And that was a positive game script where they ran the ball a ton. You know, here's his targets for the year. Last week, only 3. Prior to that, though, 5, 5, 8, 6, 6, 5. Here's the other thing. He's more of a deep threat than DK is. I don't know. Here we go on this long rant, missing the UConn game to talk about the Titans offense. They run short stuff with this DK, more screens, more crossers. This Iomanor is the deep threat. That's intriguing. To get to 50 yards, +240, that's an intriguing one to me. All right, next game, Panthers at the Saints. Here's one that I really like. Panthers. I forget. I don't remember the exact number. As a favorite, have been historically atrocious the last 5 years. Absolutely atrocious. I was praying this game would go to 3. If this game goes to 3, I am 1,000% taking the Saints. The Saints defense is sneaky good, and it's minus 120, minus 2.5, minus 120 for the Panthers, meaning it's leaning toward Saints. Leaning toward going to 3, which is the number we want. Okay. I think it could get there. The Saints defense, I told you this on the show last week, actually last couple weeks, is sneaky good. This Shuck kid is playing much better. He's playing for a job. He wants to be the 2026 starting quarterback, and I think he's probably going to get that shot because they got too many wins. That big win put them, I think, 8th or 9th in the draft board, and this is not a loaded quarterback class from everything I'm hearing. So I think this Shuck kid is playing for his job. They know the coach is coming back, right? He's not getting fired after 1 year, Kellen Moore. So the guys have incentive. They want their jobs for the following year. They have incentive to play hard, right? Saints playing well on the road, at home, getting 2.5. I want to see it get to 3. I think this is a possible spot where, yeah, your conventional wisdom says, oh, Panthers are going to play great. This just feels like a Panthers letdown spot. Feels like a spot where they're looking ahead to the Bucs game next week. Obviously, a huge showdown. I like the Saints. I want 3, though. So I'm not going to make an official play. We'll keep an eye on it over the weekend. If it gets to 3, I like it. Panthers side of the ball. You're firing up Tet McMillan, who's been great as a rookie. Great rookie receiver. Your Hubbard now is getting a little more involved. So him and Dowdle are 50-50 split, which obviously we don't love for fantasy purposes. There's no tight end to speak of for the Panthers. There's no number 2 receiver really to speak of for the Panthers. On the Saints side of the ball, Chris Olave you fire up, although the stats have not been amazing with Shuck. He's playing. Other than that, maybe Jawan Johnson, tight end if you need him. Devin Neal is going to be the starting running back. Had a pretty good game last week against the Bucs. Alvin Kamara's out. I don't think we see Kamara rest of the year. That's just my thought. What for, right? Older guy, knee injury. What are we going to see Kamara for? There's my thoughts on this ball game. Not the greatest fantasy game in the world. But there you go. There's my thoughts. All right. Rams and the Lions, 55.5 over under. Holy mackerel. That's what dreams are made of as far as fantasy football is concerned. I see it now at 55. Rams 5.5. I like Detroit here. I like Detroit to keep it close. Devontae Adams should play. Obviously, you love Puka. You love Kyron Williams. Although Lions, very sneaky. They're the number 1 defense against the running backs for fantasy scoring. Okay, not the number 1 rush defense. That's the Jags. Patriots are right up there too. But number 1 against allowing points for fantasy purposes. So Kyron Williams and Blake Corum. I've had some people ask me about Blake Corum. I know he's getting carries, but I think it's very game script dependent. I think this is going to be a much closer ball game than their last couple. So I don't see as much action for Corum, although he's on your radar. Kyron Williams' injury happens. Corum would become a must start. We love the Rams for fantasy because it's Stafford, who I think is winning the MVP, barring a complete meltdown or barring Drake May going berserk, because I think it's more of a lifetime achievement award right now for Stafford. He hasn't won one. Guy's had a great career, and he's having an out-of-this-world season. Puka is just an animal. You're firing up all those guys. You're firing up Devontae Adams, and all that stuff. No tight end really necessary to speak of. Lions side of the ball, Jahmyr Gibbs has been out of this world. I'm interested to see what he does against this tough Rams defense. Your Jameson Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Hold on, I got to open the garage here for Cam. Cam is built 8 o'clock bike ride. Wherever the heck he went. The boys are back. The boys are back in town here. What's going on, boys? Went for a good ride. We got another 10 minutes on the show. We got a couple things to finish up, and then we'll get everybody out of here. Remember, start sit questions. Get them in. Want to hear them before you can't make the wrong decisions this week. It's getting cold out there. You guys are maniacs. When you guys come in, shut the garage, please. All right. So,
no voice.
Jameson. Huh? Oh, I know. Something was wrong with the mic, guys. You know what we'll do? We'll do it next week. The microphone wasn't working when you guys did the intro. I know. I'm so sorry. Yeah, next week it'll work. Wait, you want to say something? You want to be on the camera real fast? I know. You guys saw the beginning of the show, the little guys Cam and his buddies who did the intro, the live from the Fantasy Garage. My mic wasn't working, so they're kind of bummed out. They want to hear themselves on YouTube. But we'll have them on again. We'll have FN 2187 on here. Hey, make sure you bring your bike in. So, Cam, are you going home now?
Yeah.
All right. We'll see you next time. We'll let you come on another time, okay? All right. Cam's going to close the garage up. See you, buddy. Be careful. Try not to hit the cars on your way out. All right. One of Cam's friends. They're bummed out. They wanted to be on the live stream. They wanted to get the intro, and my mic wasn't working. I apologize. Anyhow, back to the action. You're playing Jameson Williams. You're playing Amon-Ra St. Brown. Hey, Amon-Ra St. Brown goes into fantasy lore, suiting up, playing on that bad ankle. I just think the Lions are I think this is going to be a good game. I really do. Something tells me. I know everybody's talking about the Rams being the best team in the NFL, and they probably are right now. They're the odds-on favorite to win the Super Bowl. I think the Rams give it. Something in my gut says Lions give them a game. I don't know if I'm going to make a play on this, but something tells me Lions give them a ball game. Puka Nacua is off the charts. His over-under's got to be like almost 100 yards. I mean, let's take a look. That guy's been unreal. He is absurdly good. 100.5 receiving yards. He gets banged up, though, so it's hard for me to bet that because, I could see him getting banged up on a play. But that is just an absurd number. 100.5 receiving yards. That might be the highest number I've seen this year. What was Chase's? We talked about that, right? Didn't we talk about Chase's? I mean, Chase has got to hit it. Was he also in the 100 range? I mean, with no T. Higgins, I mean, this guy's got to catch a gazillion balls. He's only 87.5. I think Chase has every bit as good a chance to get there as he does. All right, Sunday night football game I've been waiting to talk about a little bit as far as I got to play. And I got an interesting stat for you here, okay? The Cowboys, when they have received extra rest, meaning off a bye or a Thursday night game, then come back on a Sunday or Monday, right? So you get the extra, you get 10 days somewhere like that. When they've played at home, they are averaging 36.5 points per game. Okay? I've talked to you on this show for the last 9, 10 weeks, however many weeks we've been doing this. Dak is a completely different player at home versus the road. I think the Cowboys light up the scoreboard. I do think the Vikings can hang with them. So I love over this number. It says 47.5 on the screen. It is now 48. Over 48 is an official play from Dustino. I'm leaning into that stat. I think the Cowboys get their points. Vikings defense blitzes a lot, and they do well against guys who are not experienced or can't handle it. Jaden Daniels last week. Marcus Mariota, who came in and sub for him. Okay? They can handle that. I think Dak can handle this. He's got the weapons. Jake Ferguson, I saw, is going to play. He's been questionable all week. He's going to play. CeeDee Lamb has been cleared from concussion protocol. He is going to play. I think the Cowboys get their points. I think the Vikings get their points against the suspect Cowboys defense. J.J. McCarthy looked a little bit better. I mean, if not now for Justin Jefferson, when? He's been so disappointing from a fantasy perspective. I think Jefferson, I think this is the game he breaks out. I want to see his total. We're taking over 48.5. And that was it was Broncos game over 43. We like over 48 Cowboys game. Love this over. I want to see Justin Jefferson's number. He's just too good a player to not. He hasn't lost his skills. It's down to 59.5. This is a hunch, folks. This is just a hunch. I think we see a Jefferson game. Over. So Jefferson to get to 80 receiving yards. Over. So that's over 79.5. And what I think is going to be a shootout is plus 190. I'm making it a play. He's too good. It's got to come. I think it's coming this week. I think they connect. McCarthy's been low-key. I mean, no, he's struggled. He has been slinging, though. He slings the ball. He has not been – it's not like he's one of these rookie quarterbacks who dinks and dunks. We talked about earlier, everything to the tight end, like this Brady Cook with Mason Taylor. This kid slings it. Now, they haven't been connecting. I think this is the game. Over 79.5 receiving yards for Jefferson. And you know me, we love these. Plus 190. I think this is very, very live, folks. I think Jefferson, this is the week. I'm calling it. We called RJ Harvey breakout week. I think this is the week Jefferson gets there. All right, we got a question coming in before we get to the Monday night game. So I already have McCaffrey and A-Chain. Who do you like in the flex? Tyrone Tracy or Keenan Allen or Quentin? Tyrone Tracy. I've been calling Tyrone Tracy league winner for the last 4 or 5 weeks. I've been telling you on the show to go trade for him. Amazing schedule. He's off the injury report, so he's playing. Yes, I still think it's 60-40 Tracy over Singletary. Good game script. Giants are actually favored in this game. And terrible Redskins run defense. Sorry, there I go. Redskins. Commanders defense. I like Tyrone Tracy, my friend. Play Tracy. Quentin Johnson's questionable, so he may not play. And then Keenan Allen he's seeing his snap share go down. It's a low over-under against the Chiefs. Great defense. I really, 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 really like Tyrone Tracy. I like Tyrone Tracy. And they get the Raiders next week at home. I think the Giants could win 3 of these last 4. They got Commanders. I think they have the Vikings. They have the Raiders. And they have the Cowboys. I think that's right. Low-key, really good fantasy schedule for the Giants down the stretch. You know, the Commanders' defense is atrocious. I'm Tracy. I know I said it already, right? You need me to keep harping on it. I like Tracy. Yeah, we got Commanders home, Vikings home, at Raiders, home Cowboys. They could win all 4 of those games. I know I'm a homer. They could low-key win those 4. And if Kafka wants the shot at the job, this is it. This is it. You win 3 out of 4. I think he's got a legitimate shot at winning this job. I've liked what I've seen from Kafka. I know people kill him over the Lions game. I like what he did in the Lions game going for it and all that other stuff. I've liked what I've seen. They've come out and played well. They've had good game plans in these games. All right, so there you go. I lean toward the Vikings. And remember, we've talked about this before. When you bet against the Cowboys, when you bet against Notre Dame Fighting Irish, these big name teams that everybody loves to bet, I'd wait till Sunday night. So I'm not making this an official play because I think you could get 6, right? If you're a Cowboy, if you like the Cowboys, get on it now. I don't see this line going down. I only see it going up. Okay, so I think this could go to 6. But again, I like the over 48 in this game. Cowboys averaging 36.5 points at home when they get extra rest. So that's my plan this. All right. Our final game, Monday night. Again, if you got Devon A-Chain, have a backup plan. I think he's going to play. Hopefully we'll get more news as the week goes on. But this is Monday night, so there's not a ton of options. Put him in your flex. Hopefully you have Jalen Wright as a backup. Hopefully maybe you have Jalen Waddle or Darren Waller or some DK Metcalf, Kenneth Gainwell. Somebody you can throw in that flex, but that's a little dangerous. It's ribs. I think he's going to be okay. He wants to play, and actually the Dolphins are still playing for something, okay? They're still playing for possible playoffs. I don't think they're getting there because I still don't think personally they're very good. They've been kind of beaten up. Obviously, nice Bills win. The rest, they've been beaten up against crappy teams, right? They beat the Commanders. They beat the Jets. It's not impressing me. Certainly the Bills game impressed me, but, one of those things where Josh Allen just had an off day. He was awful. He was horrible in that game. So here's the stat, okay? We got this from our buddy Rod/Rob, and I heard this stat as well. Beautiful. Hey, great job. You got Jalen Wright off the wire. Perfect. You wait until game time. You hear what they got to say. If A-Chain's inactive, you throw Wright in. Smart move. Great. Heads up move. It's what we got to do in the fantasy football playoffs. Great move. Okay, let me get the stat right. I believe it is. Ready for this one? This is unreal. And remember last week we had that big stat, okay? That was the Colts were 0-9 their last 9 trips to Jacksonville. And so we loaded up on the Jaguars, and the Jaguars blew them out, okay? So these stats are good for a reason, right? Pittsburgh, since 1992, at home on Monday night, 22-1. Is that insane? 22-1 straight up. Okay. And the only one they lost was the COVID year. So there were no fans. So when they're 22-0, when there's been fans in the building at home on Monday night, that's unfreaking believable. And the Steelers play big marquee games. And that's 22-0 or 22-1, but with no fans, right? That's an unbelievable stat. Okay. And now you have Tua. I forget his stats. Hopefully somebody in the chat maybe could look it up, but I heard it. I can't remember off the top of my head because I heard it while I was driving. I listen to all these podcasts. I get all this info, try to bring it to you here on the Weekend Update. Tua under 30 degrees is something absolutely brutal. I don't know if he's won a game. And I can already see it now. You know, Mike McDaniel freezing over on the sideline, everything covered but his eyes and nose, you know, red face, blah, blah, blah. Steelers love this crap. I think the Steelers bounce back in a big way. I wish we had 2.5. I love the Steelers -3. I absolutely love them. Let's take a quick peek at the weather. I love the Steelers here in this game. Tua just cannot play in the. I know you know you're pigeonholing guy. He cannot play in the cold. I mean, show me when he's won a cold game. Hasn't really happened. The Jets game this past week was in the 40s. Okay, and they had Brady Cook at quarterback for most of the game, so I don't want to hear it. It is. Oh my Lord, windy. At game time, it is supposed to be on Monday night, 12 degrees with wind. Could be like a 0 wind chill. Give me the Steelers all day long. 22-1 at home on Monday night. Unreal. And the only loss was during the COVID year. So there were no fans in the building. I think this is just a Steelers spot all day. Pittsburgh Steelers -3 official play. Steelers side of the ball, you don't mind playing Jaylen Warren. You could play DK Metcalf, had a big breakout game. Other than that, you don't really feel comfortable. They don't really have a number 2 receiver. The tight ends, Jonnu Smith and Freiermuth, neither one of them, they kind of eat into each other, so nobody's really fantasy relevant. Dolphins side, you can play Jalen Waddle, but again, you're dealing with Tua with a rag arm. But if you have Waddle, you know, you kind of have to play him. I guess you could play Darren Waller, play him at your own risk. Obviously, if A-Chain's playing, you're playing him, and you're playing Jalen Wright if he's in for him. Have those backup plans available for those games. So let's just recap. Let's get a quick update on the UConn score, although a lot of you guys are probably watching it. We had Texas plus. Again, I released it at 14.5. If you like these games that I'm giving you, get on them. For whatever reason, more often than not, especially the player props are really going against us. I bet you this Jack Besh, it'll be interesting to see. This Besh that I gave you at plus 375 and plus 475, I bet you come kickoff or down to like plus 200, 250, that neighborhood. It's been unbelievable how I've seen this now that we've been doing the show, how from Friday night to Sunday, how we just get killed on the line movement. What was I going to check? Oh, UConn. Let's check that, and then we'll give you the recap of the plays. UConn's up 10, 30-20. So looking good for the Huskies. Playing well. They're shooting the ball well. Tyrus Reed is playing. That's really weird why that line came down so much. That is wild that it dropped to 11.5 at game time when it was 15.5, and I gave it out at 14.5. Interesting. Very, very interesting. A lot of game left to be played. I will be watching that game as soon as I leave you here. But we're going to quickly recap. And I will put these in the chat. Please make sure you like and subscribe. Thank you for everybody that's been on this evening. Had a lot of you involved heavily in the chat. Thank you so much, man. This is so much fun. For me, it's like therapeutic, just being able to talk about the games with you all, get it off my chest. I can go through these sort of organically. Obviously, I do a little bit of research beforehand, but a lot of these player props, we do it as we talk. We think about the game. We think about the defenses and all that good stuff. So a lot of fun being on here with you. So thank you so much. The Specimen FL, thank you, my friend. Thanks to Nico. Thanks to Tony, who was in the chat. Thanks to the Godfather. Let's give a quick recap. Okay, here we go. Quick recap. And we may add, but right now we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plays. We had 12 last week. Right now I got 10. Remember, Saints get to 3. We're on the Saints, but we're going to wait and see what we get. All right, here we go. Terry McLaurin, over 58.5 receiving yards in the Giants-Commanders game. We absolutely love it. Debo banged up. No Zach Ertz. Possible negative game script. Giants defense is not amazing. McLaurin historically kills the Giants. Over 58.5 we think is a layup there. All right, here's the two biggies. Jack Besh, he's a receiver, second-round rookie for the Raiders. He got in the game, played 82% of the snaps. He got almost all these stats with Kenny Pickett in the game late. Kenny Pickett played 3 drives. Jack Besh ended up with 6 catches for 50 yards. Negative game script against the Eagles. Those two, we think, have a rapport from being the backups, playing with the second unit. Now they're in the limelight. Who's he going to look for? He was looking for Besh like crazy those last 3 drives. Besh, over 39.5 receiving yards, plus 375. Plus 375, people. Over 3.5 catches. These are on the alternate line. Plus 475 for this guy to have 4 catches. And he's a possession receiver. You know, slants, things like that. And Pickett's going to be looking his way. You think the Eagles have him on the radar? No. Eagles are trying to stop Gentry. They're trying to stop Bowers. Love these two. My goodness. If those two hit, are you kidding me? Plus 375 and plus 475. We like the Colts in a look-ahead spot, a possible letdown spot for the Seahawks. We like the Colts if Riley Leonard is the quarterback, plus 13.5. We don't love it if Rivers is the quarterback. So Colts plus 13.5. We got R.J. Harvey going back to the well, over 64.5 yards rushing on the alternate line, plus 175. Same game, we got Cortland Sutton, over 64.5 receiving yards, plus 155. Big game. Bo Nix is looking to his number 1 target all day long in a big game. Over 43 in the Broncos game. We like the over for the game. Broncos and Packers. Beautiful day in Denver. 65 degrees. Absolutely perfect weather. Ideal conditions for scoring. We also like over 48. Cowboys-Vikings. We gave you the stat. Cowboys averaging 36.5 points. So that means if we go by that, let's say they get to 35. It's over 48. We need 14 points out of the Vikings. We think we get there easily. We love the over 48 in the Cowboys-Vikings game. Same game, kind of correlated. We're thinking this is the week finally for Justin Jefferson against a soft secondary. He's got to break out. Marquee game. He's a superstar. He's going to rise to the occasion on a Sunday Night Football. You know, Vikings are out of the playoffs. This is their Super Bowl. This is his, probably big game. I don't think they're on Monday Night Football or Sunday Night Football rest of the year. Jefferson over 79.5 receiving yards, plus 190. We're getting plus 190 on one of the superstar players in the NFL to get 80 yards receiving. We think it happens. And then the final one, the Steelers, the 22-1 stat. We can't look away from that. -3. Add that in, plus Tua in cold weather. 12 degrees, 16 degrees, wind. Woo! That's Steelers football weather. Not conducive to the Miami Dolphins. There you have it, folks. Anything else pops up throughout the week as we look at it, we'll get you those short videos. Like and subscribe to the channel. You'll get those shorts. Again, big shout out to the Godfather. Let's run pure in the fantasy playoffs, all right? We had, Kyle Pitts got you. Let's hope your guys all run pure. I think it's a big weekend. Great regular games, right, for regular viewing, and great fantasy action for the first week of the fantasy football playoffs. Thank you so much for everybody for tuning in. Apologize for the little, audio difficulties in the very beginning of the show. Getting new to this. For whatever reason, my mic wasn't working. Thanks for bearing with us. Thanks for getting in the chat. Enjoy the rest of the UConn game. Enjoy a great weekend of football, ladies and gentlemen. That's it for me, Dustino. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.